Hello and welcome to Startup Street. I'm Shruti Mishra and with me are Megha Vishwanath and Mugdha Warrier. These are the headlines we're tracking for you today. Delhi High Court seeks response from the government, RBI, SEBI, IRDAI and NPCI on a plea regarding detailed legal framework for regulating tech-fin operations of companies like Facebook, Google and Amazon.
Fintech startup Neo rolls out ESOP buyback plan to reward its employees. IT will benefit over 100 employees who have completed 2 years in the company.
Conversational AI platform MeHoop raises $1.5 million in an ongoing Series A round led by Axel Partners, IdeaSpring Capital and Key Venture Capitalist funds to be used to expand the MeHub team and to enter new markets.
Actors Akshay Kumar and Rana Daggubati come together to create an influencer-led online marketplace called Social Swag. The platform will focus on education and entertainment. It will be launched in February next year.
WhatsApp introduces carts feature to make it easier for users to shop on the app itself, lets people browse through a catalog, select multiple products and send the order as one message to the business.
Twitter, Tumblr, Vimeo urged the European Union to take a flexible approach towards harmful and illegal online content instead of blanket rules. Known as the Digital Services Act, the rule aims to get bigger companies to take more responsibility for removing illegal and harmful content from the web.
Apple threatens to remove apps from the App Store if they don't comply with an upcoming private feature which allows users to block advertisers from tracking them. Tech companies and advertisers criticize the move, says it could hurt smaller developers. Now, leading platform for AI data management and annotation, Dataloop has today announced that 8 leading angels from India, led by Saket Agarwal of Onivation, have joined the existing investors in the company's latest Series A funding round. The investment will help to enable the expansion of Dataloop's presence in India and further reinforces a larger trend of cooperation between Israel and India in the technology sector. Till date, Dataloop has raised $16 million in funding following the completion of $11 million Series A round. To know more about the road ahead, joining me now are Eran Shlomo, CEO of Dataloop, and Saket Agarwal, founder and managing partner of Onivation. Gentlemen, many thanks for joining us today. Now, Eran, let me quickly start with you. Despite AI's artificial intelligence breakneck growth globally, a majority of companies still struggle with data labeling when they attempt to implement AI. How is Dataloop really addressing this gap? Take me through your data management solutions.
So Dataloop is essentially taking the human part, or if you think about autonomous cars, the instructions for labeling an autonomous car data is like, imagine 500 or 1,000 word document of pages of instructions. This is really hard for a single human to take this type of amount of instructions and create quality data. Dataloop allows you to kind of seamlessly take these instructions and convert them to formats that are friendly for automation, quality check, and accelerations. And on top of that, we know how to manage amounts of data in scale. So if we take the autonomous car example, so every mile a single car is going, about 10 gigabytes of data is being accumulated. You have to manage this data and connect it to the car sensors with Fusion, etc. And this is what we excel on.
Okay, so what I understand is that basically Dataloop helps enterprises that are developing AI across the globe with its customizable SaaS platform and helps them label unstructured data. Saket, let me come to you now. What made you bet big on Dataloop? Also give us more details about the round you led.
Thank you, Shruti, for having me on the show. So the most common mistake when we think of AI and machine learning is that it is magic and it just works. But to make it work, we need data, and not just regular data, but labeled data.
Yeah.
We need to feed algorithms with data that is already tagged. You know, what is a cat, what is a dog, and that is how a machine learns. Labeling is a very manual job. In India, turns out to be one of the largest providers of data labeling services to the world. What excited us about Dataloop is they're bringing in a lot of efficiency and productivity to all these thousands of data labelers who can tag these data in a more efficient manner and accelerate the growth of computer vision and AI models. This would drive the agenda of Digital India much faster and much more efficiently.
Okay. And take me through the details of the round that you've led.
Yeah, so since Dataloop is a very strategic company that would help India in its digital agenda, we made the round a more strategic round where we got 8 very eminent individuals like Umang Bedi, who was the CEO of Facebook India and now running Daily Hunt, Bikram Singh Bedi, who built and ran AWS India's business and now running Grofers. All these individuals add a lot of value in terms of advising the roadmap for Dataloop in India. And we've structured the round in a way where not only we are investing money, but advising Dataloop on the business roadmap for the Indian market.
Okay. All right, Eran, coming back to you, tell me who's your target audience and what is the kind of efficiency Dataloop really brings to its clients to help them scale up?
Our target audience is essentially companies who are developing AI, or to put it into more accurate terms, deep learning, whether it's computer vision, video recognition, speech recognitions, and pretty soon text. And these are I would say, the primary customers. But we invest a lot in the suppliers of the data. We look at these data labeling companies as kind of the coders of the data itself. So we're working closely with companies like that because we understand that the true advantage and efficiency and optimization opportunity lies within these companies. And therefore, Dataloop has a strategic interest in working much closer with them.
Okay. Eran, also, let me ask you a follow-up question. Your Dataloop's India operations, what attracted you to India and what difference are you really looking to make in the data annotation market here?
Yes, so I think that India, the opportunity, why we're so interested in India is that India is in a very special point on the global AI ecosystem. India is in a crossroad of three. It's like an inflection point of three major factors. First, India has a lot of technological tech talent, access to tech talent, whether it's people educated in the US or Europe and coming back, or the internal institutions like IIT and major enterprises that have development and R&D centers in India. The second part is the access for the labeling workforce. And it's very rare to have both a strong tech talent and efficient labeling workforce, cost-effective labeling workforce on the same building. That's some things that can happen maybe only in India and China. And the last part is the culture. India is very open to the world. I can tell you on the national side, like Israel and India has a very warm relationships all the way to the defense technologies, etc. And India culture is very open, unlike China that is kind of more internally centric. So if you combine all the three, the talent, the efficiency, and the culture, you get a very attractive location.
All right. Saket, coming to you now, how are you looking to strengthen and market Dataloop's operations in India? Any big partnerships we should be looking forward to?
Yeah, so Shruti, at Onivation, we believe in investing in deep tech startups, and we've been doing that in Israel specifically and driving their India business. So we're looking at building a team and capabilities that would help expand the operations in India, a sales and R&D team. We're also banking on our strategic advisors who would play a key role in scaling us. On the partnerships front, can't comment right now, early days. But we're looking at solving problems for very large enterprises in the automotive, retail, agriculture, industry 4.0, and content industries.
All right.
So that's...
Yeah, Saket, we'll be looking forward to those partnerships. Eran, SaaS has been one of the winning sectors during the pandemic. Take me through some of the key trends and customer insights you're seeing in India and globally.
So first, I would say that definitely, if you take a look on COVID, has accelerated everything that relates to medical. And we can see that medical applications are now accelerating maybe 2-3 times faster than it used to be pre-COVID. And the next two big ones is, of course, autonomous machines, where we need, everybody today is now in the COVID era is shipping more and having more logistic operations. So we see an acceleration there. And the last part is, of course, agriculture, where if you think about labeling, when you work on an agriculture component or AI, you need agronomists.
Sure.
And that goes kind of to the talent that exists. So that's these three areas we see definitely strong connection to India and a growth.
Thank you, Eran, for giving us a lowdown. Now, Saket, my final question to you. Onivation has been spearheading the growth of India-Israel technology partnerships, I believe with over 15 Israeli deep tech companies. Who's next? What are the areas you're looking at for future investments?
So, Shruti, cloud, data, and cybersecurity are three key pillars for the growth of consumer tech market. And we are looking at about 100 unicorns that would come out of India by 2025, right? So with that context, we're looking at making 15 investments over the next 1 year in companies that are solving deep tech challenges around cloud, data, and security. Investments like Dataloop are, very exciting. We are very excited about the acceleration it would bring to the between the two countries, Israel and India, and help us strengthen the digital India agenda. So this is a great day for Dataloop and a great day for the India-Israel friendship.
All right, great day for Dataloop. Thank you so much for the two of you for joining us, and thank you, Shruti. Staying on the topic of artificial intelligence, the COVID-19 pandemic has accelerated the adoption of AI and advanced analytics around the world, according to a latest report by PwC India called AI an Opportunity Amidst a Crisis. India has noted the highest increase in the use of AI as compared to even major economies like the US, the UK and Japan. To talk to us more about this report, we have Sudipto Ghosh from PwC India. Sudipto, welcome on the show. And firstly, your report shows that over 70% Indian enterprises have implemented AI in some form or the other, which is higher compared to around 62% that was seen last year. And the growth is also higher than what is seen in major economies like US and UK. Firstly, if you can tell us what has helped Indian enterprises see this high growth and adoption of AI, and what have really the use cases been?
Sure. So thank you very much for this opportunity. In fact, we always anecdotally thought that AI is going to help businesses, particularly during a crisis. But this is a first survey of its kind which proves that point. And coming to your question that what are the areas which has really helped or increased the adoption of AI in organizations, I would say organizations are thinking from three perspectives. The first one is repair, as in if something has broken, how do I repair, whether it's a demand problem or if it is a supply problem. So for example, organizations, when they're opening up their offices or opening up their factory locations, they are using AI to ensure that the health and safety requirements are met. Similarly, employees who are working from home or working from anywhere are using AI to ensure that their productivity and they are as efficient as before. So that is one category of problem where you are just trying to ensure that you can run your business as usual, even in a disrupted environment. But the organizations are not even limited to that. The second category is what I call is more from a rethink perspective. So as they are coming out of this crisis and thinking what they need to do differently, they are saying that how can I build a more resilient supply chain? If my supply chain is going to be dependent on a lot of factors, can I use AI for figuring out what are my vulnerabilities, what are my impact areas, and how do I address that? So that is what I call under the category of rethink. And the last category is that once you have done the rethinking, then you effectively reconfigure or effectively change the way you work. So for example, we are now talking about demand sensing, where you are not just looking at the historical data and extrapolating the historical data for doing your sales forecasts. You're actually then now saying that how do I look at the external environment, sense what is happening in the external environment here and now, and be more tuned to what is going to happen in the future. Okay. So I'm completely reconfiguring the way I'm operating my, say, sales and marketing function. So these are the three categories which, in my opinion, has significantly led to a boost in sales.
All right. So you talked about 3 categories. I also want to ask you about the sectors that have seen faster adoption of AI. And your report shows that, sectors like travel and hospitality, financial services, healthcare and pharma have seen the highest adoption of AI. And these, of course, were the sectors that were, hugely disrupted by the pandemic. Is that one of the reasons why we have seen high adoption here?
Absolutely, you're spot on, because COVID has impacted organizations in both positive and negative ways. So if I look at travel and hospitality, they have been very badly hit in a very adverse way. So here we are seeing that the level of adoption and the kind of sophistication which they have deployed using AI is significantly higher. So for them, AI is effectively something which they are using in order to tide over this crisis. So that crisis is like an opportunity where an organization is using AI to improve their business functions and their overall revenue. So that is one category where organizations are.
So Sudipto, you're saying crisis. Right, you're saying crisis is an opportunity. I want to quickly ask you, because we're a little tight on time, what is the scale or the extent of, the increase in revenues or the reduction in costs that you've seen among the companies that are now, moving to AI?
It's very difficult to say exactly what is the extent of revenue increase, but I can definitely say that what AI has enabled many organizations to do is to at least protect their revenues going forward using different channels. So for example, we are talking about contactless selling, particularly in the finance sector, in the insurance sector, because in a traditional way, you will have people who will be going out in the field and selling. But now in the COVID world, it is not possible because of the lockdowns and restrictions. So now AI and digital technologies are being used to do that contactless selling, so that you're at least able to maintain what sales do you have. So that is one category. The second category, I will take example of, say, something like a pharma sector, where there is a sudden spurt in the demand, at least in many categories. So when there is a sudden spurt, what do? You then look at what kind of supply side debottlenecking you need to do in advance, so that you can take use of that. So digital twins of the supply chain is getting used to figure out how you can effectively increase your production and increase your on time in full demand from the market, so that you can take advantage of that. Now, in terms of percentage terms, probably anywhere between 10 to 20% would either help in the first category in terms of protecting the sales, and the other category in terms of enhancement of the sales.
All right, Sudipto, thank you so much. And it's a very interesting report. Thanks for joining us. But time to slip into a short break. But up next, we put the spotlight on another AI platform, Signsy, which has been automating solutions for the banking sector and others. Don't go anywhere.